Hey guys, it's Evan. Last week I told you that I was going to start trying to update every week and that I was going to be answering the questions from the 30-day trans challenge that's floating around Tumblr right now. So this is my first entry on that. The first question is, when did you know that the term transgender referred or applied to you? Um, the first time that it really hit me, that I really knew, was about two and a half years ago. Um, give some backstory on it. I was raised in a really religious household. My father was a minister. My mother was the daughter of a minister who married a minister. The particular denomination we were involved in was very much not supportive of the LGBTQ community. Pretty much any alternative lifestyle they were not supportive and very much against. Um, so I don't remember a lot of what would have been childhood indicators of being transgender, because that kind of behavior was very much corrected and staunched at a very early age. Um, when I was in high school, I came out as dating females, and I started being involved in the LGBTQ community here in Tulsa. And even then, there wasn't a whole lot of exposure to transgender people. Now, because of the religion that I was raised in, the only exposure that I had to any transgender, transsexual, queer, non-gender binary, anything of that, was always very negative, very misleading representations, very exploitative, over-sexualized, offensive, just not representative of how uh, transgender or transsexual people really are. Um, and even after I was able to, become more of an adult, make my own decisions, and I started being involved in the LGBT community, there still wasn't even a lot of exposure then. Now, granted, this was 10 years ago. I was just out of high school. Uh, but there still just wasn't a lot of information out there. We were in the community, we were doing things, but it was definitely mostly focused on the gay and lesbian community. There wasn't a lot of transgender people, and the ones that were out there were very stealth, to the point that they didn't really talk about it to other people. Um, the first real exposure that I had to transgender people at all was when a friend of mine told me that a musician that I liked when I was younger had recently come out of the closet and made an It Gets Better video. So I went online, I looked it up. I was like, that's so cool, she put herself out there, I gotta check it out. And when I did, I also saw in the sidebar some videos from transgender people. Um, and as I watched it, I just saw these normal people, these not anything like the representation that I had been given my entire life, and nothing like the silence that I got about it, even in my closer to adult years. Um, and at that time, I started really letting myself feel those feelings again. Um, I had been performing as a male impersonator since I was maybe my senior year of high school, a little bit after, somewhere around there. And I'd always felt more comfortable dressed up as a male. And, I just equated it to, you're a musician, you're a performer, you like performing. The reason you feel more comfortable is because that's what you look like when you're on stage, you're in a character, blah, 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 blah. And I guess when I really saw those normal transgender people, it kind of clicked in my head, like, no, you're just more comfortable as a guy. Um, I did wait a couple months, before I told my girlfriend, who's now my wife, just because I wanted to make sure. I wanted to be sure before I told anyone. I just spent a lot of time watching a lot of trans guys' YouTube videos, checking out blogs, reading medical research papers, pretty much any information about it that I could get my hand on. And the more and more that I read, and the more and more that I researched, I realized that I didn't feel so alone. I felt like it was okay to have these feelings. Like, this whole time, I just thought it was crazy. I thought that nobody had these feelings, that this was weird, and people who tried to do this just ended up going crazy. And what I realized was that being comfortable in my body and being comfortable with who I am on the inside, matching who I am on the outside, wasn't all that far out of grasp. And one night, I finally, in my brain, I was like, go ahead and tell her. I told my girlfriend at the time. She stayed with me, obviously. We're married now. And I think that time period, from the time that I saw those videos until when I told my wife that I knew I was transgender, that time period was when I first knew for sure. So there's my answer to the first question. Hopefully I'll be able to get back next week and give you the answer to the next one. Maybe I can talk Stephanie into getting a song on here with me or doing a blog of her own. But until then, I guess we'll see you later.